Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today is the final day of Series 8 for the VGC ladder and just for the competitive rule sets in general. And to say goodbye to the format, I'm going to be using a Cosmog team that was built none other than my good friend Wolfie Glick. Wolfie and I actually did a exhibition battle for the Panda YouTube channel a while back using, he used this Cosmog team. And the backstory for this is, he wanted to kind of meme for Players Cup 3 and said whichever Pokemon got the most likes on Twitter, he would use. So I wanted him to use Cosmog. Stonejourner ended up winning, but he, told me he actually built a pretty fire Cosmog team. So this is really the best time to feature it. Last day of the format, a lot of you all have been asking for it as well. So excited to give it a try on this channel. It's actually a very legitimate team. Obviously Cosmog is not the strongest restricted Pokemon in Series 8, but I think Wolfie did a really good job building a strong team around it. As you can see, it's a Perish Trap team, so the idea is to try to pick up 2 knockouts as quickly as possible using Lapras and Gengar, set up that Perish Song, and then Cosmog's value is that it's actually pretty bulky, it has Unaware, and has that Teleport, right? So you can always move last and basically give you a free switch-in into whatever you want. And so Cosmog is pretty interesting, I think, with this team. Often it is actually kind of tough to fit in just because there's so many other strong Pokemon, like, Mungus, Lapras, Incin, Gothitelle, or you trade Lapras for Gengar. Both of those are really, really solid cores, but since it's our last day, I'm just going to bring Cosmog to all the matches, and we'll see how things go. If we can win one, I'll be pretty happy. But I figured this would be a fun way to close out the format, and yeah, we'll jump into Series 9, aka Series 7, very, very soon. So, I appreciate everyone for watching and supporting the channel, really in the last year. Series 8 I had a lot of fun with in particular, as well as Series 7, so it'll be interesting to re-explore a metagame that we already played a little bit, but just wanted to say thank you to all the fans for watching, for supporting the channel consistently, and also a huge thank you to people that have submitted their teams throughout the course of the last year. Unfortunately I can't feature all of them, but I do try to check them as much as possible, even if I don't get to respond to you per se. I do often see most of the teams that people are submitting, so I do really appreciate that. And yeah, this channel is all because of you guys, so I have a lot of fun making them, and without everyone watching and supporting, submitting teams, it definitely wouldn't be where we all are today. So just want to say thanks, and yeah, let's get into today's episode. Question of the day, with Series 8 rounding up, I want you to rate it from 1 to 10. I think I would probably give it a rating of like 6 or 7. Definitely wasn't like my favorite VGC format of all time, but from a content perspective, I really enjoyed making content for it. I think if I had to play in a serious tournament in Series 8, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But from a content perspective, like trying all these different teams and restricted Pokemon, like I definitely had a lot of fun. So yeah, a huge thank you, of course, to Wolfie for the team today. So let's just jump into things. As always, if you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. And let's get some Cosmog action today. Alright, what do we got here? Liepard, Torkoal, Venusaur, Xerneas, Glaceon, Celesteela. Alright, kind of a sad match for Cosmog just because my opponent's team is so... Yeah, this is like max HP, max defense, and they're all special attackers. Alright. I mean, the goal is to pick up 2 KOs. It's just how we execute that. Also curious, I mean, Liepard here, fake tier stuff, I guess. Kind of want to bring Gengar over Lapras. This is bold Gengar, though. It's I remember when I played Wolfie, it's not max speed Gengar. It could be kind of funny here. Gengar's not bad. Just I could go with Gothitelle Lapras. The right decision is to not bring Cosmog into this, but I'm going to bring it into this. So I'm going to go Gothitelle Lapras, I think Gengar, Cosmog in the back. Incineroar would definitely be the right decision per se here, but we're trying to feature Cosmog, so let's give it a go. But unfortunately, like, my opponent's team is special, right? We really, really wanted them to have physical attackers, because Cosmog can take physical attacks pretty darn well, actually. Special attacker is going to be a little bit more difficult, but yeah, if we can survive an attack, get a teleport off, I'd be pretty content about that. I'm going to go Liepard plus Xerneas, okay. I mean, I guess this isn't great, right? Because they can just Geomancy up. Now I have Helping Hand. I actually really could have gone Gengar here. That would have been pretty sweet. Like, what I can do is Helping Hand Resonance turn 1. Which is probably Sash Liepard, right? That's the main problem. If it's not, it's actually a really big deal, because then I can just Helping Hand pick up another KO next turn. Huh. I did not see that coming. But maybe that's actually okay. Well, it's not okay if Liepard goes for Fake Tears, I suppose. I could have just gone for Fake Out as well. Maybe it was just better to Fake Out Liepard, because Liepard's going to carry Sash so frequently. We'll see. Either way, honestly, I'd rather see Xern max here than not. They're trapped in right now. Xern can't do that much damage, especially if we get screens up. Now, Liepard with Fake Tears is definitely a problem, but could be worse. The cool thing is we can use Cosmog as a switch-in as well. Let's see if they went for Fake Out with the Liepard, because Fake Tears until Lapras could have been a little bit scary. Wait, what is Liepard going for? What? It's slower than Xerneas. Okay. That's interesting. I mean, that already surprises me a little bit. Maybe it just actually has some bulk then? Snarl? Wow. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen Dark Pulse Liepard before, but is it Focus Sash? Because if not, this is actually a great turn for us. It's not. Okay, sweet. We got Resonance up. I think, honestly, I can just straight up bring out Gengar right now and Perish Song. Like, the goal is to bring out Gengar, we Perish Song, and then we KO whatever comes in next to Xerneas. I could have brought out Cosmog immediately as well for Teleport, but I like Gengar applying a little bit more pressure here right now. I don't know if that's the right decision. Okay, either way, slow Liepard with Dark Pulse was definitely not what I was anticipating, but that works out pretty well for us. I'll take it. Celesteela? Okay. Okay, if Celesteela's coming out, I feel like we can actually just go for Shadow Ball plus Geyser here. I guess the only question is whether or not that KOs Celesteela. But if we outspeed and just KO, like, that's just game over. That's what you want to do with this team. Pick up 2 KOs basically as quickly as possible. If I brought Cosmog out here, maybe Cosmog was actually a better bring just because I could have just gone Geyser Teleport, and then I get a free switch in. That actually would have been pretty sweet. But I like the idea of applying like offensive pressure with Gengar immediately here. Hey, Max Guard the Xerneas. I honestly think that should just be game over at this point. That's definitely enough to KO with a Geyser. Sweet. Okay, nice, nice. Flash Cannon doesn't really do much. Beautiful. We get Geyser off. Okay. I mean, now now the only fear is whether or not they actually outspeed Gengar with Xerneas, because this Gengar is supposed to be max speed, but it ended up not getting nature minted. So it's bold max speed. Okay, nice. I should have just brought Cosmog out first for the Bants. But obviously I'm aiming to win first and foremost. Glaceon comes out, okay. Alright, let's bring Cosmog out. And go for a Geyser here into Glaceon. Okay. I should have brought Cosmog out, but we end up getting the win. We didn't even need to use Parasol. I mean, yeah, they recognize that I got 2 KOs ASAP. So we should have brought Cosmog out. But I thought Gengar was the better approach. I think Cosmog actually made sense, though, because if you look at what they had remaining, it was like, what, Torkoal, Venusaur, Torkoal, Venu, Glaceon, and Celesteela. So Lapras can actually handle all of those. So we could have gone Cosmog out first, gone Geyser Teleport, get a free switch into Gengar, and then Perish on KO. That could have been a fine line to take as well, but hey, we'll take it. Alright, getting into things here, and Dragapult, Kyogre, Regieleki, Ferrothorn. Okay. So the team is pretty specially oriented. Max Regieleki is actually like the thing I'm most nervous about here, funnily enough. I could go like Amoonguss Lapras here, Rage Powder, Resonance, get a free switch into Cosmog, and then Gengar is the last one. The only problem is this way I'm not trapping in with Gothitelle, but I don't know if I really need to trap in. And I don't know how much value leading Goth has, especially against a Dragapult team. Alright, let's go with that. So, same, you know, the idea here is to just try to Perish Song immediately. I'm just sad. Sad about that last one. Didn't get to bring Cosmog out immediately, but it is what it is. I should have just done it, but I wanted to, like, we were actually in a really favorable position on turn 1, and I think, like, Gengar is just a safer bring. But my opponent didn't let me switch in Cosmog, so that's kind of sad. Anyway, I think realistically with this team, Cosmog rarely is actually going to play very much into actually, like, winning the game strategy-wise, just because you'd have to be in a pretty, like, obscure scenario to have it out and then to teleport as well. If there's any game for it to actually put in work, though, it was that last one. So I suspect if Cosmog did come out, my opponent could have doubled up onto Cosmog. We probably would have survived, teleported, gotten a Geyser off into the Celesteela, then Shadow Ball would have KO'd. So, like, we could have used Cosmog as a pivot the last game. It actually did make a lot of sense. Dragapult Kyogre, okay, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm fine with that because what I can do here, I just don't know if Life Orb Resonance KOs. I don't think it does. Does Life Orb Freeze Dry KO Kyogre? There's no way, right? Because quite frankly, the play I want to make here is to just Rage Powder. We get booted out, Max, and then Resonance into Dragapult. Just might be kind of obvious. I'd also Protect here. They don't have an Ice Resist other than Incin. I'm also nervous about Dragapult going for Phantom Force. But I think I will just Rage Powder Resonance turn 1 onto it. If I had Max Lightning here, I'd consider targeting Kyogre. They're not maxing Dragapult. It's probably a Protector or Phantom Force then. Which, I mean, isn't the end of the world for us? Because once again, like, our goal is to just pick up 2 KOs. We don't need 4 KOs. And Resonance is actually really valuable because it turns Cosmog even bulkier, right? Just never thought I'd say that sentence. Okay, that should be Phantom Force coming out from Pulp, but that means I can knock it out next turn, which honestly isn't that bad. Or Fly, okay, that makes sense too. What are they going for here? Thunder, okay. Yeah, that works for me. Boots Amoonguss out, but I actually can bring in Cosmog now. And if I can knock out Dragapult, that's actually pretty worth it for us, because then at that point, all we need is 1 more KO, and then we just win with Perish Song. So this is actually the perfect opportunity for Cosmog to come in. It's just, I could have gone Resonance into Kyogre or Geyser onto Kyogre, but I feel like I should cover for the potential of Dragapult maxing turn 1. If I ignore it, then it can really just sweep through me. So Cosmog is out. We're going to teleport here, and we're going to go Resonance into Dragapult. Maybe Cosmog feigns, but trading Cosmog for the Lapras, or sorry, Dragapult's actually not a bad trade in my opinion. Especially if we get screens up as a result as well. They're actually going to Thunder us. Okay, cool. That works for me. No Para, which is great. So, the only downside is I've already spent 2 turns of my max, and I'm not sure how easy it will be to actually pick up this last KO. But, Cosmog comes out. We get the teleport off. That was a crit, but I don't think that mattered given that we have Life Orb. I just need 1 more KO. I need 1 more KO, and then Gengar can win the game with a Perish Song. Yeah, this is why I wanted to lead Amoonguss in this game. If I led the Gothitelle, like, turn 1... Actually, the value of Gothitelle is Helping Hand Resonance turn 1. That'd actually be pretty cool. Either way, we're going to teleport out. Let's go back out into Amoonguss right now. I know Amoonguss here has Pollen Puff, so that could actually be really valuable in healing up the Kyogre. Or sorry, in the Lapras. And they might just keep clicking Thunder. We'll see. It's probably Thunder, Water Spout, Origin Pulse. Yeah, the only problem here is I don't know how easily I can actually pick up the second KO. But that's okay. Kyogre can't heal, so eventually we can chip away at it. And they're going to bring in a Lecky. Okay, I'm actually very happy to see that. Because, what's their counterplay here? I mean, I can just Rage Powder and Geyser, right? Because I don't think they can deal with the Amoonguss right now very easily. Your best play would probably be to protect the Lecky. Or actually, no, it'd be to Volt Switch and go into your last Pokemon. But the thing here is I think Dragapult was my opponent's best max option, right? So, like, that's why I'm actually pretty happy to trade the... Okay, they're going to max here. It'll be really... If you max a Lecky, like, unless it's Goggles a Lecky, we should just KO with Geyser Life Orb Geyser. Alright, they're gonna max Kyogre, which honestly I'm fine with in this position as well. I think the best play here, unless they actually have max Hailstorm on Kyogre this entire time, that'd be really big brain. But the good thing is we have Resonance here, right? Okay, so they're not protecting with the Lecky. Sashaleki would make a lot of sense here, but I still want a Geyser into that slot. Alright, they just Thunder. That's fine with me. If they're not Sashaleki, this is game over. Cosmog as a Teleport Pivot was actually really good for us here. And they just Geyser. Okay, they have no damage output into us right now. I say that and Amoonguss takes like 60%, but that's fine. That's fine. Okay, we'll get the Geyser off. Is it sashed? Yes, it is sashed. Okay. The sash is a pretty big issue for us here. But I think we can survive an Electro Web on Lapras. And I don't think Thunder knocks out Amoonguss from the range it's at. So, I think we can just go for a Rage Powder here. The thing is, Lecky can protect here, right? I actually kind of want to switch out Amoonguss into Cosmog right now. Yeah, Amoonguss out into Cosmog for Regenerator. And then protect Lapras here. That burns a turn of max, and it gives me a free switch in. I mean, the only problem is if my opponent doesn't knock out Cosmog here. Also, that last turn I could have just Spored. Huh. But I think you have to respect the option of Dynamax Regieleki there, because then they can set up Electric Terrain. That's really bad. Lucky didn't protect, so we could have won the game just with Freeze Dry this turn onto it. Oh, but they went Volt Switch. Okay, yeah, that covers the option. That makes sense. No Geyser here. Okay. This is going to be a close one. Okay, Cosmog did its job in this game, so thank you for your sacrifice. We've healed up now, and I can go into Amoonguss once again. Now, on Aleki's end... Okay, let's see. I have Freeze Dry as well. I have Spore. Spore is actually pretty valuable for us right now. Does Volt Switch KO us? We still have 2 turns of Aurora Reveal, so I actually don't think so. What's their last one going to be? It's going to be Ferrothorn or Incineroar. Or Porygon. So I actually kind of like Geysering here. Like, I like the idea of Spore into Kyogre and Geyser... Or, sorry, a Hydro Pump into the Lecky. This is a little bit risky, but we'll see. Okay, they do go for the Protect this time around, but if you didn't max Light... You should max Lightning Lapras. That would actually be your best play here, always. Okay, yeah, they went for it. Yeah, nicely done. Is that KO? Ah, it is enough. Okay, we still have an out here, though, which is if they mess up and we can actually KO a Lecky, then I can win the game with the Perish Song. But the Sash was the deal breaker here, unfortunately, for us. Yeah, they didn't go for Lightning earlier, so I was like, yeah, maybe they'll misplay, because like, they haven't respected the option of Amoonguss Sporing, but now they're in a pretty good spot. Yeah, you should always just Volt... Well, I guess if I can predict the Volt Switch target correctly, protect the right Pokemon, and then KO, we can still win. Right? So I kind of want to protect Gengar here. Who would a likely target? Who's the more likely target here? I need to knock out a Lecky and then Parasol the next turn. That's our win con. I'd Volt Switch Gengar in this position. I'm going to Pollen Puff the Lecky. And Protect. Seems like kind of an obvious Protect, though, so I don't know. Okay, they just actually E-Web. That's the best case scenario here for us. Because we can actually Perish Song now. And they missed, too, which is kind of nice for us. Okay, that's a really big deal, actually. We can win still now. Through Perish Song. It's very dependent on what my opponent's last win is now. Either way, this was a really close game, so I'm happy with how it played out regardless. Turn 1, I had the opportunity to go for the Kyogre target, which would have let me set up Resonance earlier. I don't think that actually makes a significant difference, though. Their last one's Incineroar, so we probably still lose this. We're going to need a couple lucky protects here. I mean, I protect here and go for Perish Song. But all the way my opponent wins now is to just KO Amoonguss, because Amoonguss would be the slowest Pokemon on the field. So, probably need a triple protect to win this one. They did mess up and click Fake Out. Okay. Well, then you could just Flare Blitz it next turn anyway, so I still don't really have an out here. Barring, like I said, a triple protect, I think. Yeah, they're going to Scald. Brings us down to Sash. Sheesh. Okay. Unless, like, Flare Blitz doesn't KO us here, if you're my opponent, you just, what, Water Spout Flare Blitz? That's actually kind of a waste of a Protect. I needed them to mess up and click Fake Out, rather than just blitzing. Ooh, that was actually a pretty big misplay then. I'm not happy about that. Okay. I'll just Protect here. We do have 2 Pokemon. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter because Gengar is always going to faint first. Via Perish Song. So unless for some reason they didn't Flare Blitz Amoonguss here. Or if they don't have Flare Blitz for some very odd reason. But Flare Blitz should seal up the deal against Amoonguss now. Okay. Yeah, they've got it. Because they had Incineroar in this game, like, we actually had an opportunity to win by staying in with the Amoonguss the turn they Volt Switched and going for Rage Powder and, was it Hydro Pump or Max Geyser in that position? It was Hydro Pump at that point, right? Yeah, Rage Powder, Hydro Pump into the the Gieleki slot. Because then they Volt Switched, they would have got into Incin, we would have KO'd Incineroar there. So, that's pretty close. The main thing here is that we just didn't pick up 2 knockouts quickly enough, right? You don't want to be in a 2v2 scenario in the end game. You need to have 3 Pokemon, essentially. And with Gieleki having Volt Switch as well, I was able to pivot out pretty easily. And we don't have great damage output into Kyogre. Like, the 2 main max options with this team are Lapras and Gengar, and they obviously can't do very much damage-wise into Kyogre. So basically the plan was to knock out everything around Kyogre, but Fly turn 1 was a really good play by my opponent to basically waste a turn of my Dynamax. Now, I had the opportunity to go for Freeze Dry rather than Fly, and that actually would have been a really big deal because it would have given me a extra... Sorry, not Freeze Dry over Fly. Freeze Dry over Max Resonance, because that actually would have given me an extra turn of Dynamax. So I could have read into Dragapult not maxing in front of us, and I probably should have just because, yeah, it doesn't seem like the most likely max option. I also had the opportunity to Spore with Amoonguss, but I didn't because I wanted to respect Max Lightning. So my opponent went for a risky play by not going for Max Lightning earlier and then covered their option safely the subsequent turn. In that, I also could have gone Rage Powder with Amoonguss and covered Lapras. I don't know, Rage Powder and then like Freeze Dry onto the Kyogre and then Protect and Pollen Puff into Gieleki. So we definitely had some better plays we could have made in that game for sure. But yeah, let's look for our last match here. Alright, final game, and we got Dialga. Dialga. That's not really great for Lapras, but the upside about Lapras is it actually hits everything else for super effective damage here. They don't really have great ice resists. So I actually really like Lapras here. Can I really bring Lapras and Gengar, I guess, is the issue here. It is pretty easy to actually go Lapras, Gothitelle, Cosmog. And then as the last one... Amoonguss Spore is actually really good here, but if they get Trick Room up, Torkoal destroys me. I just always want to bring 2 Perish Song users, because like the odds of Lapras going down early is like... Well, it doesn't go down that easily in this one, right? If they lead Torkoal Venu, I can Helping Hand Resonance Venu turn 1, like we should survive Gmax Vine Lash, KO Venusaur in return, and then we have a pretty substantial advantage. I think I'm going to bring Gengar, though, because, yeah, if that scenario actually does happen, I need another Perish Song user. So, yeah. That last game, we definitely had opportunities to win. We had the right Pokemon. Turn 1, like I mentioned, I could have gotten an extra turn if I predicted Dragapult to just not Dynamax and go for Phantom Force or Fly. And then that gives us an extra max turn. And then the turn my opponent ended up not Max Lightning, I could have Spored with Amoonguss. So, I got outplayed on both of those turns, and that is essentially what cost us the game in the end. Now, if they had... Well, okay, no, we needed Ferrothorn to be their last Pokemon. Ferrothorn was their last Pokemon. We actually stood a shot with winning via Perish Song. Although, if it's Min Speed Ferro, is Amoonguss slower? I'm actually not 100% sure. Okay, it's going to be Landorus plus the... Dialga. Surely you don't max Landorus here, right? Like, I honestly kind of want to just go for Fake Out Freeze Dry turn 1. No. Actually, we should still max here. And the reason why is because Resonance is just so good, plus my opponent is actually so weak to Lapras, we can just pick up another KO the next turn. So here, I don't mind going for Fake Out and Resonance onto Landorus. I guess Landorus could max here, but that would seem wild. I want to Fake Out to prevent a U-turn, because if I can knock out Landorus in one hit turn 1 and get Resonance up, then I basically get 2 turns to KO one Pokemon next to Dialga. It'd be really smart for them to actually not... maxing Dialga would be good to see here. Is that Landorus maxing? If it's Landorus maxing, it's frustrating because I could have got Helping Hand Resonance instead then. Okay, they're maxing Dialga. I actually really wanted to see that, so that's good. Good. Alright, this is not a bad start for us. Yeah, I mean, this Cosmog once again is, like, mainly defensive investments, so it's a bit of a shame that all the last couple teams we went against, like, my opponents had more specially oriented restricteds. What, Xerneas, Kyogre, Dialga. Going up against, I don't know, like, Groudon, for example, would have been really nice, but that's okay. When you're using Cosmog, you pick your battles. Protect on Landorus would make me very sad here. Okay, no Protect, nice. Good. Yeah, I'm honestly glad I went for the Resonance straight up here rather than Freeze Dry, because if... Okay, they did target Gothitelle too, so Freeze Dry actually would have worked out for us, but I honestly think we're in a fantastic position right now, because we have Citrus Berry, we KO Landorus, and whatever comes in, I can just go for a Helping Hand attack, and then one more attack, and Gothitelle traps in right now, so we're actually in really, really good shape, believe it or not. I'm just sad I didn't bring Cosmog in Game 1, because that was like... Or bring it out in Game 1, because that was the perfect opportunity to do so. The cool thing about Cosmog is it does give you a free switch in, right? So, like, we can survive another Steel Spike now. Like, this next turn I can go for Helping Hand in an attack, or I could just straight up switch out Gothitelle and then pivot back in on the last turn of Trick Room. Not the last turn of Trick Room. Last turn of Dynamax on Dialga, right? Because then Cosmog would survive and you either KO it or I get a Teleport off, meaning I get to bring Goth back in, trap you in, and click Fake Out. I'm bringing Venusaur, which is fine. Okay, the problem with Venusaur is Sleep Powder, right? So I think we actually cover for Sleep Powder here. We go for Max Guard and Taunt onto it. Because you're not going to KO Gothitelle in one hit with Dialga right now. And my opponent's only way to win is by spamming Sleep Powder right now. I also could have just, I don't know, hoped for a miss, but since we have Taunt, I feel like it's just a better option to go for this right now. Because then I can just protect Goth and Resonance. So I'm hoping they try to Sleep Powder Lapras here. Nice. Okay, as long as we don't get crit on Goth here, it's pretty good. Oh, this could be Roar of Time Max Worm win, but with screens up, I wouldn't think this one-shots. Okay, beautiful. I think that actually should win us the game, because now we go into Cosmog this last turn. And Venu's trapped in and taunted, so it can't protect. This is actually the perfect setup right now. Sick. Okay. So we can Resonance, switch Gothitelle into Cosmog. Cosmog would have won us game 1 too, so I'm really sad I didn't bring it out, but it is what it is. But I think this team should show you how you can make any Pokemon, literally any Pokemon, work in VGC if you're a good enough team builder, and Wolfie is, you know, one of the greatest team builders of all time. So, we're in really good shape right now, especially because we brought the Gengar as well. That gives us 2 Perish Song users, and if Venusaur's not sashed here, we go up 4-2, the game should just be over. You just go for Sludge Bomb, that's fine. And it's Life Orb. Ah, perfect. Tauntaun Gothitelle was the perfect tech to have here. They're going to Max Quake. We'll see if that actually allows them to survive. That'd be pretty impressive. But Cosmog comes out. Is that a crit? There's no way it does that much, right? Oh, wow. It was not a crit. This thing's just kind of weak. Maybe I had too much faith in Eevee like Cosmog, but whatever. I feel like this should still KO Venusaur. Beautiful. Okay, nice. Now all we need to do is Fake Out Perish Song, the game's over. This was the best game to end on, honestly, because, like, Game 1 we won without Cosmog, Game 2 we brought out Cosmog but didn't do much, but then in this game, Cosmog put in so much work, just as a switch-in for us. Okay, so Torkoal's their last one. We don't even need a Hydro Pump, we just Perish Song Teleport right now, and by cycling through Protects. Actually, there is a way in which we could lose, right? The correct play is to... Well, let's think this through. This is not one yet. Because they could pick up a double KO right now, right? I think the right place to protect here and teleport. Because then I bring out Gothitelle and I can fake out with Gothitelle. Yeah. And then with Gothitelle fake out, yeah, that's the correct play. We never want to just lose both Pokemon this turn, because we could actually lose that way. And Teleport guarantees us that we get to get out of this position. They're going to KO poor Cosmog, but that's fine. I think the one thing we need to avoid now is a crit. Wait, hold up. It's kind of frustrating because I could have just Parasong there. They try to cover for Hydro Pump. I think we actually don't go for the Hydro Pump win. Sorry, the Parasong win con right now. Because if I bring out Gothitelle... No, we can still win with Parasong, actually. Yeah. Because we have enough damage output. I don't want to risk missing, because another win con is we just bring out Gengar and Shadow Ball Hydro Pump and then Parasong. But if we miss Hydro Pump, that happens 20% of the time, that's bad. Alternative is bring out Gothitelle, fake out Parasong. But then they knock out Gothitelle. I think it actually might have been right to go into Gengar and just double up onto Torkoal here. I was just trying to think of a way to win without missing. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to fake out Torkoal Parasong here, but... I think the better approach... We had this game won 80% of... Well, they also could go for a double protect, I suppose, so not guaranteed like 80%. Okay, they're going to Flamethrower. Yep, they make the correct target in Lapras. Oh, wait, no. They did not make the correct target by targeting Lapras. That should be game over. Okay, nice. They needed to KO Gothitelle here. But I was thinking, even if they KO Gothitelle, like, it's 3 turns of Perish, right? And Gengar isn't perished. So it can protect, attack, protect. And then the thing is, it's still an 80%, like, if we win 80% of the time by KOing Torkoal anyway, and then making the right moves. And if they don't make the right moves, we win 100% of the time, essentially. But now, we can just double protect. Yep. This was actually Cosmog's best appearance. I think it was... to like, get that teleport out and let us switch out was a really big deal. And my opponent just didn't get enough mileage out of their Dialga, but this is why Life Orb Lapras can actually be really strong. So, yeah, all we have to do, anytime you're in this kind of end game where you set up Parasong and you have another Pokemon in the back, you just go double protect, switch out, protect. That's it. And it's a guaranteed win. So, Parasong end games you always have to be a little bit careful of because it's very easy to throw in positions like this, but we should have it wrapped up now. So we just switch Lapras out into Gengar. We go for another protect here. Might as well. And once we pivot Lapras out, the game's over. Yeah, and my opponent recognizes that. So that's going to be it for our time with Series 8. This was a very, very fun team to end things on. And honestly, those were great games. I mean, the first game, like, definitely a very interesting team. That Liepard side I did not expect at all. So I'm sad I didn't, like, actually bring out Cosmog immediately, but I figured Gengar would put us into, like, a guaranteed winning position, whereas Cosmog was a little bit more variable. That being said, like, thinking back to my opponent's team in Game 1, they actually didn't have great answers to the Lapras anyway, so we actually could have just brought Cosmog out immediately. In Game 2, like I mentioned, there were 2 big opportunities to have played better, which was not Dynamaxing turn 1, and, like, if I just went Freeze Dry onto Lapras turn 1, or Kyogre onto turn 1, it would have done so much damage as well, right? So we had an opportunity to make that play, and then that would have given us an extra Dynamax turn, and then, like I said, the turn where, you know, they gambled, they didn't go for Max Lightning, we could have gambled and gone for Spore. Actually, there were 3 plays then, and then the third play was the turn that Max Lightning did come out. I could have gone for Rage Powder with the Mungus there, got an, I don't know, Freeze Dry into Kyogre. I still don't see how we win that game, though, because then they set up Electric Terrain, and then Aleki blows through us. So Sash on Aleki was a game changer for my opponent there, but it's a pretty meta standard item. But that's 3 different turns that, you know, my opponent basically made the better play relative to me. So, yeah. It was still a close game, and if they had Ferrothorn as their last one, like, and Amoonguss is slower than it, we actually had a shot with late game Parasong. But we needed it to be Ferro, and Sin was the perfect Pokemon for them to have in the last. And then in Game 3 here, Cosmog actually put in so much work, allowing us to get that free switch in back out, and Lapras was able to just blow through, you know, Dialga's partners. Taunt on Gothitelle, really, really valuable as well. So, yeah. It's a little bit scary when the Torkoal protected rather than attacking, but I figured because we had Fake Out with Gothitelle in the back anyway, we were probably fine, and the Teleport on Cosmog gives us that free switch in that we're looking for. You either KO it or I just get to Teleport out. So, yeah, that's going to be it for Series 8. So, guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Thanks to Wolfie once again for the team. Check them out, linked in the description below. And I had a lot of fun in Series 8. I'm looking forward to diving back into Series 7, aka Series 9 starting soon. So, leave a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to answer the question of the day, and I'll see you all next time. That's it for Series 8. All right, peace.